Hello RVers, YouTubers. Here we are having fun with our RV by getting it ready for the 2025 spring season. What we did was today that we installed a holder for the second propane tank. This one holds 2 propane tanks, as you can see. It was easy peasy. I'll show you exactly how I did it, and I'll show you why I did, because we're not doing this the way you would normally do it and the way most people would do it. We're doing it a simple way for a simple purpose, and we really like it already. But here we are today showing you how to install the second propane tank, or actually a bracket for holding 2 propane tanks. Let's get started. First thing we have to do is take off this, I don't know what you would call it, but it's a device for holding the propane cylinder. It's a good idea to save these screws that they got going on here. Now, I'll take this opportunity to talk a little bit about my philosophy about what I'm doing here. I'm not going to be doing this for probably the same reasons you're thinking about doing it. And I'm putting 2 of these 20-pound cylinders on here. You might be asking yourself, or wanting to ask me, why didn't you just get a 30 and save you a bunch of trouble? Well, I could have done that, and I thought about doing that. And who knows, I may get a couple of 30s in the future. But I have lots of these 20-pound propane cylinders. Every time in my life I've ever bought a new barbecue, it came with a propane cylinder. So I've got 4 or 5 of these things. Not only that, but the 30-pound cylinders, you have to take somewhere to be refilled in general, all right? And that means some kind of tractor supply or I don't know, some kind of feed store, something like that will usually have them. Whereas replacing, that is to say just exchanging, trading out these smaller cylinders, you can do that everywhere. Just about every grocery store, convenience store, gas station, even all the drug stores in our area all have those little ones because everybody needs them for their barbecue grills. What I've done here is just a dry fit. I put the pan down there. I wanted to see if I push it all the way forward, is there going to be enough room for the cylinders? Well, turns out, yeah, there's plenty of room. So I can just push it up against this bracket right here, drill my holes, and just go to town. Let's see how that works. Okay, here's everything that came in the package that I bought from Amazon. The black pan for holding both of the air cylinders, a wing nut for the top of the threaded rod, basically to hold down that little piece of T hardware. That's it. Notice there are no mounting bolts, there's no anything like that, all right? So as you're taking things apart, it might be a good idea to save the screws or whatever bolts or something like that that you're gonna have, okay? 1/4 inch self-tapping 1.5 inch sheet metal screws. Remember, they didn't come with any. Okay, there's only a couple of things left to do. One is put this threaded rod down into that little nut that's welded into the pan there. And have the threaded rod going down where it's coming out at least a ½ inch, a little bit more probably wouldn't be a problem. Then you can put these guys on right here. Then all you have to do is tighten down this great big wing nut. Now that's pretty much it as far as mounting the tanks onto the trailer. But now is when we go into what do you want to do at this point. Some people will put a double automatic device on here, regulator, that uses one tank until it's empty, then automatically switches to the other tank. Other people will simply put a hose on here or a regulator that uses them both at the same time. Some people, like us, are going to put one hose on here and use one tank at a time. Now, why would I want to do that? Well, I'll tell you. First off, my wife and I, we like to cook outside of the RV as much as possible. Cooking indoors, when it's hot outside, tends to warm up the RV. It also tends to put cooking grease and things like that on surfaces. So we have a portable regular grill as well as a portable stovetop. And we will grab one of these and take it to the nearby picnic table, and we'll set up our little kitchen right there. We'll have our grill and one of these there. So this one's going to come out every time we get to a campsite and we set up our little outdoor grill so we don't cook in the RV. Now I will be putting a vent-a-hood. The Coleman 17B doesn't come with one, but they only cost about $125, $150, and they look like they're going to be relatively easy to put in. So I'm going to put a vent-a-hood in there. Don't worry about that, and that should help things a lot. But until then, we're still going to cook outside, and even after then, we may probably still cook outside. So we need one of these to be portable. Now you're asking yourself, well, what if you have a gas furnace, or you're heating up water or something like that, and suddenly it quits because you've got this attached to only one side? Well, I really don't have a problem coming out here and switching it over or doing whatever I need to do, and now knowing that I've got one empty tank and one relatively full tank. I like that, because if I let both of them run all the time, then I'll never know when both of them run out. Now I know, well, why don't you just, you got a gauge on here. Yeah, you got to be up on top of it. But if you mess up and don't check it one time, now you're dead in the water. I like using one, and when it runs out, then I've got a long time to remember to go exchange one of these. Now the other problem, or other thing we talked about, why not get one of those big tanks? Well, like I said, the big tanks, you're going to have to go to a feed store or Tractor Supply or someplace kind of rural, and I can switch out these tanks at just about any grocery store, convenience store, gas station, drugstore, anywhere, because especially in our town, because everybody wants to have these things for that cookout, So these are easy. Do you lose a little bit of LP per dollar when you do it that way? Yeah, you do. You'll go from paying, 85 cents a gallon to $1 a quarter a gallon or something like that, or a pound or whatever. Okay, you will actually it'll cost you a little bit more for that convenience, but I like that convenience. And like I said, I don't have a problem, even if I'm camping and it's 20 degrees, and if we had it, right now we have an electric furnace, but someday we may have a gas furnace. It gets cold, I can run out here and switch these things over. When that happens, I may just get a valve I can switch right here if and when we're doing that. But for me, I like having a tank that's portable, and if one of them runs out, and you have to come out here and switch this, then that's an alarm going off in my head. But this is pretty much it. This was all it took to mount that pan, that device on here, and put them on here. Some people, I'm not exactly sure how or why they have problem doing it. I think some of them are putting their battery up here and the tanks here, and they're not having room to do it. or I don't know. About half of the people on the internet that are doing this have no problem at all. I didn't have any problem. And the other half are like, man, we got to weld new brackets and do all kinds of stuff. But we're set up, good to go, and honestly, that didn't take very long at all. So there you go. I got to say, this was pretty easy. Didn't cost very much. This little pan and bracket here to hold it works great. I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, for the price especially, man, it's a bargain, and I'm happy. And now, of course, that leaves me only like 3 of these things back at home in the backyard, but I love it. And in the past, we'd have an extra one, but it'd be rolling around in the back of the truck maybe, or it'd be in its own plastic, container or something like that. This is pretty easy. I love it, and we're going to be using it this summer like nobody's business. See you down the road.